Why are women at the BBC saying that they're getting paid illegally less than men to do the same job? Well, that's not fair, is it?
Let's go to the first question. Those are complicated questions.
Okay, I gotta pause it again. I'm sorry. I know.
This is the whole point.
And I know I'm about to get stumped on like crazy, but this is just this is my belief, and this is through my eyes, but how I feel.
Right, with JC.
Okay.
What it do, Half and J family? Welcome back to the channel, baby.
Yes.
It's your boy Half.
And your girl Jay.
And we back with another reaction video. You feel me? All right, y'all, so look. Welcome back to the channel.
Yes.
To the Half and J channel.
Yes.
You dig? Don't forget to go over there and subscribe to Simple J. Don't forget to go over there and subscribe to Just Half. You feel me?
Okay.
All right, so anyway, I know y'all see that title. Okay? There's been a lot of conversations about this topic. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it's been a conversation for quite some time now. Right? So let them know what we're about to get into today.
Okay, we're watching Jordan Peterson versus the gender pay gap.
Gender pay gap. Now, we all know that it's a gap between pay for male and female. Mm-hmm. So we're about to see what Jordan Peterson has to say about this. Mm-hmm. Then we'll get, of course, your guys' opinions in the comments, and then, of course, we'll touch on it a little bit here and there. It's a 15-minute video, 16-minute video, so we don't want to pause too much and stretch it out to an hour or 45 minutes. Right. But we're going to stop at certain points to where we feel like we need to go ahead and, say some things about that. But anyway, before we get into it, everybody that's out there who has not yet, excuse me, subscribe to the...
you messed it all up.
Right. To the channel. Come up top. Don't hit her in the head. Bam. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
Yes.
Turn your post notifications on.
Yes.
Like and share this video.
Yes.
And then comment down below, baby.
Yes.
Come and join the squad, man.
Yes.
I don't know.
You got me confused.
Oh, my bad. But come and join the squad, man. Half a J.
Yes.
We over here kicking off. What?
What? Oh, see? What's wrong with you? That's what you normally do.
We over here kicking off. What?
Good vibes, baby. Good vibes. Boom. Wow. Messed that all up.
It's all good. All right, so let's see what this man talking about, man. The gender pay gap.
Let me put a quote to you from the book, where you say there are whole disciplines in universities forthrightly hostile towards men. These are the areas of study dominated by the postmodern neo-Marxist claim that Western culture in particular is an oppressive structure created by white men to dominate and exclude women. But then I want to put
minorities too dominate.
Okay, sure. But I want to put to you that here in the UK, for example, let's take that as an example, the gender pay gap stands at just over 9%. You've got women at the BBC recently saying that the broadcaster is illegally paying them less than men to do the same job. You've got only 7 women running the top FTSE 100 companies.
Yeah.
So it seems to a lot of women that they're still being dominated and excluded, to quote your words back to you.
It does seem that way, but multivariate analysis of the pay gap indicate that it doesn't exist.
But that's just not true, is it? I mean, that 9% pay gap, that's a gap between median hourly earnings between men and women.
But there's
that exists.
Yeah, but there's multiple reasons for that. One of them is gender, but it's not the only reason. Like if you're a social scientist worth your salt, you never do a univariate analysis. Like you say, well, women in aggregate are paid less than men. Okay, well, then we break it down by age, we break it down by occupation, we break it down by interest, we break it down by personality.
But you're saying basically it doesn't matter if women aren't getting to the top, because that's what's skewing that gender pay gap, isn't it? You're saying, well, that's just a fact of life. Women aren't necessarily going to get to the top.
No, I'm not saying it doesn't matter either.
You're saying
I'm saying there are multiple reasons for it.
Yeah, but those reasons, why should women put up with those reasons? Why should women be content not to get to the top?
I'm not saying that they should put up with it. I'm saying that the claim that the wage gap between men and women is only due to sex is wrong. And it is wrong. There's no doubt about that. The multivariate analysis have been done. So I can give you an example.
You're talking about multivariate analysis. No. I'm saying that 9% pay gap exists. Yeah. That's a gap between men and women. I'm not saying why it exists, but it exists. Now, if you're a woman, that seems pretty unfair.
You have to say why it exists.
But do you agree that it's unfair? If you're a woman...
Not necessarily.
Okay, I got to pause right there.
Yeah.
Do you feel that it's unfair? For women to get paid less and because of gender reasons or...
Now, are we talking about the same position? Or two different positions? Because if it's two different positions, that's clearly going to be two different
The
pay
same
grades.
position.
Okay, same position. I feel like the pay should be the same. If you have the same exact position as I have, and just because I'm a man, I don't think I should be getting paid more than you.
Okay.
If we have the same exact position. Now, if you're a position lower than me, you know what I'm saying? I'm
Oh, yeah,
higher,
of
then
course.
that's what
of
balance
course.
itself out. You feel what I'm saying?
Of
But
course,
but if you're in the same position as me, then I wouldn't see why there would be a reason, unless they're basing it off of your credentials, as far as what you have behind you, like as far as bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, so on and so on. You know, some people get paid more with the more paperwork that they have attached to their name. What do you feel?
I say performance-wise, because it all goes according to how you perform on the job. If you're a beast at this thing, I feel you of course should get paid higher than anyone else.
So you're saying that if we had the same position,
but I'm working harder than you,
and your numbers is producing better than mine,
oh yeah,
and you saying you should be getting paid more than me?
Of course, that's how I feel.
I respect that.
If you're drawing, you know, you're increasing, like you're making money for the company.
Right.
You're just the GOAT at this thing.
Right.
Like, I feel, of course, you're supposed to get paid more.
I agree 1,000%. It's 1,000%.
And gender has nothing to do
nothing to do with it, because I come from a background in the job force I was in, to where what you just said is 100% accurate. Because if you was not performing, then you can have, for example, we had a male finance manager and a female finance manager, same position. But one was, like you said, was outperforming the other. So of course they're gonna pay them more because they're valued more.
Oh yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, and like you say, it has nothing to do with the male and the female part of it. So that's a good point that you made. Okay. Right on.
You have to say why it exists.
But do you agree that it's unfair? If you're a woman...
Not necessarily.
And on average you're getting paid 9% less than a man, that's not fair, is it?
It depends on why it's happening.
Right.
I can give you an example. Okay. There's a personality trait known as agreeableness. Agreeable people are compassionate and polite. And agreeable people get paid less than less agreeable people for the same job. Women are more agreeable than men.
Again, a vast generalization. Some
It's
women
not
are not more
generalization.
agreeable than
Yes,
men.
that's true, but that's right. And some women get paid more than men.
Right.
So you were saying that by and large, women are too agreeable to get the pay rises they deserve.
No, I'm saying that that's one component of
Why does she keep making it seem like this is what he's saying?
Because
like she wants him to say
she's
this.
upset.
No, I see she's upset.
She's highly
clearly
upset. So that's why she's that's why she's acting like that.
Okay. But it's like she's throwing the answer on him.
Oh yeah,
like,
she's ticked. She's mad.
So that's what women do?
A lot of us, I'm not gonna say all of us, but a lot of us
90%, we should be fair.
I'm not gonna say 90%, I'm just gonna say a lot of us.
Multivariate equation that predicts salary. It accounts for maybe 5% of the variance, something like that.
So surely
you
the
need
answer...
we need about another 18 factors, one of which is gender. And there is prejudice, there's no doubt about that, but it accounts for a much smaller proportion of the variance in the pay gap than the radical feminists claim.
Okay, so rather than denying the pay gap exists, which is what you did at the beginning of this conversation, shouldn't you say to women, rather than being agreeable and not asking for a pay rise, go and ask for a pay rise. Make yourself disagreeable with your boss.
Oh, definitely, there's that. But I also didn't deny it existed. I denied it existed because of gender.
Okay.
See, because I'm very, very, very careful.
You see how she put the words in his mouth? He said, I never said that, you know what I'm saying, because it was of gender, but it was a, you know what I'm saying? Like,
she's angry.
Right.
Existed because of gender.
Okay.
See, because I'm very, very, very careful with my words.
So the pay gap exists, you accept that, but you're saying, I mean, the pay gap between men and women exists, but you're saying it's not because of gender, it's because women are too agreeable to ask for pay rises. So
It's one of the reasons.
Okay, one of the reasons. So why not get them to ask for a pay rise?
I've done that,
I've done that
many, many times in my career.
And they just
I've counseled. Oh, they do it all the time. You can. So one of the things that you do as a clinical psychologist is assertiveness training. So you might say, often you treat people for anxiety, you treat them for depression, and maybe the next most common category after that would be assertiveness training. And so I've had many, many women, extraordinarily competent women in my clinical and consulting practice, and we put together strategies for their career development that involve continual pushing, competing for higher wages, and often tripled their wages within a 5-year period.
And you celebrate that?
Of course.
So do you agree that you would be happy if that pay gap was eliminated completely? Because that's all the radical feminists are saying.
It would depend on how it was eradicated and how the disappearance of it was measured.
And you're saying if it's at the cost of men, that's a problem?
Oh, there's all sorts of things that it could be at the cost of. It could even be at the cost of women's own interests. So
because they might not be happy if they get equal pay.
No, because it might interfere with other things that are causing the pay gap that women are choosing to do.
Like having children.
Well, or choosing careers that actually happen to be paid less, which women do a lot of.
But why shouldn't women have the right to choose not to have children, or the right to choose those demanding careers?
They do. They can. Yeah, that's fine.
But you're saying that makes them unhappy, by and large.
I'm saying that no, I'm not saying that. I actually haven't said that so far.
You're saying it makes them miserable.
No, I said that what was making them miserable was having weak partners. That makes them miserable.
Right.
I would say that many women around the age of, I would say between 28 and 32, have a career family crisis that they have to deal with. And I think that's partly because of the foreshortened time frame that women have to contend with. Like, women have to get the major pieces of their life put together faster than men, which is also partly why men aren't under so much pressure to grow up. Mm-hmm. So because for the typical woman...
he's speaking straight facts right now. Mm-hmm. That's the truth. We have to have things in order by a certain age. Whereas I can understand why men don't grow up as fast as women. Mm-hmm. Like, we have a timeline. Mm-hmm. You know, having kids, especially having a family, taking care of home, like, it's a set limit to us, you know? Right. You guys can keep going. It's just the truth.
Right. No, that's facts. That's facts.
Why men aren't under so much pressure to grow up. So because for the typical woman, she has to have her career and family in order pretty much by the time she's 35. Because otherwise the options start to run out. And so that puts a tremendous amount of stress on women, especially at the end of their 20s.
Okay.
Because he's saying basically, once y'all hit like the age of 35, like...
It's hard to have kids. Right. It's hard to have a family.
Exactly.
Because...
It's more of a consequence to have it. Like, because the older you get...
It's the chances, the lower the chances you have of having a child.
Complications of them. By you being an older woman.
Right, having to be put on bed rest, being pregnant.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
maybe high blood pressure or something, or you know what I mean? Or
just health complications, period.
Right.
And so that puts a tremendous amount of stress on women, especially at the end of their 20s.
I think I take issue with the idea of the typical woman, because, you know, all women are different. And that's what I want to just put another quote to you from the book.
Well, they're different in some ways and the same in others.
Okay, you say women become more vulnerable when they have children.
Oh, yes.
And you talked in one of your YouTube interviews about crazy harpy sisters. So, simple question. Is gender equality a myth in your view? Is that something that's just never going to happen?
It depends on what you mean by equality. No,
being treated
you mean
fairly,
men and women,
getting the same opportunities?
Fairly, we could get to a point where people were treated fairly or more fairly. I mean, people are treated pretty fairly in Western culture already, but we can...
Well, they're really not, though, are they? I mean, otherwise, why would there only be 7 women running FTSE 100 companies in the UK? Why would there still be a pay gap, which we've discussed at length? Why are women at the BBC saying that they're getting paid illegally less than men to do the same job? Well, that's not fair, is it?
Let's go to the first question. Those are complicated questions.
Okay, I gotta pause it again. I'm sorry, I know.
This is the whole point.
And I know I'm about to get stumped on like crazy, but this is just this is my belief, and this is through my eyes, but how I feel.
Right, with JC.
Okay, the WNBA and the NBA. To me, I think it's visually appealing to watch the men play. Men are stronger The stamina is there. You know, it's just, you know, it's a whole different vibe to me versus the WNBA. Like, 9 times out of 10, I would prefer to get an NBA ticket and go watch the game, because to me, it's cool to watch the WNBA, but I'm not a big fan of the WNBA like I am the NBA, and that's just the truth.
Yeah, because like you just said, it's just more appealing for you
visually
by watching the men play, because they're more exciting, more athletic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's ladies. I'm not saying we don't deserve the pay, because I'm a woman at the end of the day.
But it goes back to what you said earlier in this conversation. If you're producing more for that company,
the performance
is
all in performance. Anyway.
So now, if you're looking at the WNBA and NBA, obviously the NBA is bringing in more revenue.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying?
It's the performance.
WNBA. Yeah. So if you're bringing in more revenue, of course their pay will be higher. Right. But now, if the WNBA was, whatever reason, was bringing in a whole lot more revenue than the NBA was, as far as views and all that type of shit, then I would feel that they'll be paying the WNBA just as well as they're paying the NBA.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
maybe I don't know how the percentage is pay wise with the WNBA versus the NBA. Gap. Is it?
Oh, huge, dumb gap.
Like at the end of the day, it's all in performance for me.
Yeah, and it's about the revenues you bringing in
that you're bringing
to that company.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with gender, in my personal opinion, in your opinion. You know
but I'm saying it's more visually appealing to me though to watch men play basketball versus women. To me.
Right.
It's just the facts.
Right.
Men to do the same job. Look, that's not fair, is it?
Let's go to the first question. They're both complicated questions. Seven women, repeat that one. There's
7 women running the top FTSE 100 companies in the UK.
Okay. Well, the first question might be, why would you want to do that?
Why would a man want to do it?
Well,
there's a lot of money, it's an interesting
there's a
job.
certain number of men, although not that many, who are perfectly willing to sacrifice virtually all of their life to the pursuit of a high-end career. So they'll work. These are men that are very intelligent. They're usually very, very conscientious. They're very driven. They're very high energy. They're very healthy. And they're willing to work 70 or 80 hours a week, non-stop, specialized at one thing to get to the top.
So you're saying women are just more sensible. They don't want that because it's not a nice life.
I'm saying that's part of it, definitely. And so I work.
So you don't think there are barriers in their way that prevent them getting to the top?
Oh, there are some barriers, yeah, like men, for example. I mean, to get to the top of any organization is an incredibly competitive enterprise. And the men that you're competing with are simply not going to roll over and say, please take the position.
So let me come back to my question.
All-out warfare.
Is gender equality a myth?
I don't know what you mean by the question. Men and women aren't the same, and they won't be the same. That doesn't mean they can't be treated fairly.
Is gender equality desirable?
If it means equality of outcome, then almost certainly it's undesirable. That's already been demonstrated in Scandinavia. Because in Scandinavia...
What do you mean by that? Equality of outcome is undesirable.
Well, men and women won't sort themselves into the same categories if you leave them alone to do it of their own accord. I've already seen that in Scandinavia. It's 20 to 1 female nurses to male, something like that. It might not be quite that extreme. And approximately the same male engineers to female engineers. And that's a consequence of the free choice of men and women in the societies that have gone farther than any other societies to make gender equality the purpose of the law. Those are ineradicable differences. You can eradicate them with tremendous social pressure and tyranny. But if you leave men and women to make their own choices, you will not get equal outcomes.
Right, so you're saying that anyone who believes in equality, whether you call them feminists, call them whatever you want to call them, should basically give up because it ain't going to happen.
Only if they're aiming at equality of outcome.
So you're saying give people equality of opportunity, that's fine.
It's not only fine, it's eminently desirable for everyone, for individuals and for society.
But still women aren't going to make it, that's what you're really saying.
It depends on your measurement techniques. They're doing just fine in medicine. In fact, there are far more female physicians than there are male physicians.
He's making a point, though, because it is based on your decision of what you want to do in your career. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what I'm getting is basically like he's saying like women will more than likely go toward like, you know, being a nurse, a RN or a LVN or, you know what I'm saying, in those type of fields versus men they're trying to go to, like he said, an engineer or a welder or you know what I'm saying? Like you don't see. I haven't seen no woman garbage man. You know what I'm saying? Rolling around picking up the garbage and stuff like that.
I have.
That's what I'm saying. I haven't seen it, but
and I feel that it should be equal pay. As you know what I'm saying? Like as far as that goes.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. A normal job like that, and you guys have the same position,
and even
it should be equal pay.
And
but if you're in a corporation, like you said,
like a surgeon, I feel, of course, it should be equal pay. You know
that's
what
I'm saying? Yeah.
You know,
all I'm saying is if you're in a corporation to where you know you're like a GM or something to where you know you have to bring in revenue for the company to survive.
It depends on the performance
That's
and
what
the
depends
position.
on the performance.
The
exactly.
position and the performance.
Exactly right. But if you have a normal job, I'm working a freaking
warehouse job.
Yeah, a warehouse job, and I'm a supervisor, you're a supervisor, and we got the same task.
And you're basically doing the same
the same exact thing. We should get the same
equal
pay.
pay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like that's to me that's no brainer.
Yeah, that's a no brainer.
That's no brainer. So.
But some companies are not with that.
Right, but
like women deserve less, and that's not fair.
It's not fair at all. Because why would they deserve less if they're doing the same exact thing? You know what I'm saying? Like that don't make no sense to me. That's weird.
Find in medicine, in fact, there are far more female physicians than there are male physicians. There are lots of disciplines that are absolutely dominated by women. Many disciplines, and they're doing great.
Nice.
So let me put something else to you from the book. You say the introduction of the equal pay for equal work argument immediately complicates even salary comparison beyond practicality for one simple reason. Who decides what work is equal? It's not possible. So the simple question is, do you believe in equal pay?
Well, I made the argument there. It's like it depends on
so you don't believe in equal pay?
No, I'm not saying that at all.
Because a lot of people listening to you will just say, I mean, are we going back to the
That's because
cage?
they're actually not listening.
I'm just being very
projecting
careful.
what
I'm
they think.
hearing you basically saying women need to just accept they're never going to make it on equal terms, equal outcomes is how you defined it.
No, I didn't
If I was
say
a
that. I
young
said
woman
equal.
watching that, I would go, well, I might as well just go and play with my Cindy dolls and give up trying at school because I'm not going to get the top job I want. Because there's someone sitting there saying it's not possible,
I
it's
said
not
that
desirable, it's
equal
going to make you
outcomes aren't
miserable.
desirable. That's what I said. It's a
Yeah,
bad
it's not
social
desirable.
goal. I didn't say that women shouldn't be striving for the top or anything like that, because I don't believe that for a second.
Striving for the top, but you're going to put all those hurdles in their way, as has been in their way for centuries, and that's fine. You're saying that's fine.
No, I really
The
think
patriarchal system is just
that's
fine.
silly. I do. I think that's silly. I really do. I mean, look at your situation. You're hardly unsuccessful.
Yeah, I have battled
you
quite
been?
hard to get where I've got to.
Exactly. Good
So
for
that's
you.
okay. Battling is good. This is all
It's
about the fight.
inevitable.
But you talk about men
Why
fighting.
would-
Let me just put another thing to you from the book.
Why
You're
wouldn't
saying
you have to
real-
battle for a high-quality position?
Well, I notice in your book you talk about real conversations between men containing, quote, an underlying threat of physicality.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
What about real conversations between women? Is that something, or are we sort of too amenable and reasonable?
No, it's just that the domain of physical conflict is sort of off limits for you.
Well, you
It's
just said
rather
that I've
unfortunate.
fought to get where I've got.
Yeah, but
What does that make me?
well, I don't
property
imagine.
man or
I
something?
don't imagine that you. Yeah, to some degree, I suspect you're not very agreeable.
So that's the thing. Successful women. I'm not very agreeable.
Right.
But
I noticed that
successful-
actually in this conversation.
At least
and I'm
you
sure
can
it served your career well.
Successful women, though, basically have to wear the trousers, in your view. They have to sort of become men to succeed, is what you're saying.
Well, if they're
I've had to fight to succeed,
if they're
therefore
going
I'm
to
an
compete
ordinary
against
man.
men, certainly masculine traits are going to be helpful. I mean, one of the things I do in my
I agree with that.
I mean, it's just the truth.
I
Like,
agree with that.
it's just the truth. And because men are known, because I did on my channel, I did a masculine, I mean, well, it was talking about masculinity. And I feel like, because this is how we were all raised, like, men are supposed to be the providers and the protectors. And, you know, I feel like those are very masculine traits. And when a woman becomes the provider and the protector, that it brings out a masculine side to us. Because we're basically doing a man's job. Like,
and I think that comes from, though, with a lot of women, and definitely a lot of black women, sad to say, but it's because when they have kids, the father, majority of the time, is not there.
It's an absent father, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they had to, like you just said, they had to pick up that slack of the man. So now they get this so much of this independency about themselves. When they finally find a man that will come in, it's hard for them to let that down.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're so used to doing everything by themselves. And sometimes that's how relationships
And that's why a lot of women, it's hard for a lot of women to submit because they took on that masculine role of becoming the father in the home and the mother.
You gotta learn how to differentiate the two. Like, you know, okay, I got a man here now, let me go ahead and fall back and now be my women, my feminine side.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? So, you know.
Sometimes it's a challenge.
It's definitely going to be a challenge, especially if you've been going for so long. Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying?
And certainly, masculine traits are going to be helpful. I mean, one of the things I do in my counseling practice, for example, when I'm consulting with women who are trying to advance their careers, is to teach them how to negotiate and to be able to say no and to not be easily pushed around and to be formidable. And you need to, if you're going to be successful, you need to be smart, conscientious, and tough.
Well, here's a radical idea. Right at the bottom.
1,000%. And that's why a lot of women get taken advantage of when they go out and go buy cars or something like that, or you know what I'm saying, whatever the case may be, because like he just said, they don't have that masculinity in them to where they're not going to just get told anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, once you tell a woman something that they want to hear, boom, they know it. Versus a man, they'll still fall back like, nah, I want something better.
Right.
Or I know you can do better. Or
that's why he was saying in the beginning of this video, it all comes, you know, you have to be assertive.
Right,
you
absolutely.
Have to, yeah. And that is also, I mean, of course, women, we are assertive as well, but you guys are just more aggressive and assertive. And you know what I'm saying? Like you said, you guys don't hold back. And that's just the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, you can hate me if you want to.
No,
these are the facts.
Perfect example. When me and Jay and myself, we went to go get her a car one year, right? A few years back. And before we got there, I said, listen, let me do the negotiating. Because I was already, I'm in the car. I was in the car. I said, let me do the negotiating. Ooh, so, okay, it is, right? So long story short, we get there. I'm trying to negotiate the price. Like I just said, as soon as she heard a price that she was like, oh yeah, let's do it. And I'm just like,
we had a whole discussion.
Right. Way before we got there. Moral of the story is, I could have negotiated and got more, but that's what he means by, you know, you guys are just going to go in and just kind of like, in some cases, just, you know what I mean? Just take what they're saying.
And so with men, y'all just take no BS at all.
At all, because we're more of the aggressor.
And we're more
preserved,
accepting.
Right. Yeah, acceptance of it. Like, you know, okay, well, that's what you say that it is. You're more trusting of it. You feel what I'm saying? You're more trusting of it. You guys don't feel like...
But there's a lot of women out there that are just beasts with it.
And those are the ones that he was talking about that's getting paid like...
So that's the more masculine
absolutely.
women.
The ones who don't care about your feelings and all that type of shit.
This masculinity thing is so hard. So, it's crazy.
Right.
Successful, you need to be smart, conscientious, and tough.
Well, here's a radical idea. Why don't the bosses adopt the male bosses, shall we say, adopt some female traits so that women don't have to fight and get their sharp elbows out for the pay rises? It's just accepted if they're doing the same job, they get the same pay.
Well, I would say partly because it's not so easy to determine what constitutes the same job.
But that's because, arguably, there are still men dominating our industries, our society, and therefore they've dictated the terms for so long that women have to battle to be like the men.
No, it's not true. It's not true. So, for example, well, I can give you an example very quickly. So I worked with women who worked in high-powered law firms in Canada for about 15 years, and they were as competent and put together as anybody you would ever meet. And we were trying to figure out how to further their careers. And there was a huge debate in Canadian society at that point that was basically ran along the same lines as your argument, is that if the law firms didn't use these masculine criteria, then perhaps women would do better. But the market sets the damn game. It's like...
And the market is dominated by men.
No, it's not. It's not. The market is dominated by women. They make 80% of the consumer decisions. That's not the case at all.
If you're talking about people who stay at home looking after children, by and large, they are still women. So they're going out doing the shopping. But that is changing.
They make all
What I
the
want to ask
decisions.
you. Okay, so
The
what I
market
want to
is
ask
driven
you.
by women, not men.
Right.
Okay, and if you're a lawyer
They
in
still
Canada,
pay more for the same sort of good.
That the market is driven more by women than men.
It's the truth.
Absolutely, that's the truth.
driven by women, not men.
Right.
Okay, and if you're a lawyer
They
in
still
Canada,
pay more for the same sort of goods. That's been proven. That men, you buy a blue bicycle helmet, it's going to cost less than a pink one. Anyway, we'll come on to that.
partly because men are less agreeable. Right, so they won't put up with it.
I want to ask
That's what
you,
I'm saying.
is it not desirable to have some of those female traits you're talking about? I'd say that's a generalization, but you've used the words female traits. Is it not desirable to have some of them at the top of business? I mean, maybe there wouldn't have
They
been
don't predict
a banking
success.
crisis.
They don't predict success in the workplace. The things that predict success in the workplace are intelligence and conscientiousness. Agreeableness negatively predicts success in the workplace.
So
And
you're
so does high
saying,
negative emotion.
you're saying that women aren't intelligent enough to run these top companies?
No, I didn't say that at all.
You said that female...
Okay, they're having a conversation. What's that book? Men are from...
Venus or something like that, women from Mars.
Yeah, like that's the type of conversation. And we have those conversations a lot. Where you don't understand what I'm saying, and I don't understand what you're saying.
Right.
I don't know where I don't know where you're coming from. You don't know where I'm coming from.
Right.
We have those a lot.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
intelligent enough to run these top companies?
No, I didn't say that at all.
You said that female traits don't predict success.
But I didn't say that intelligence wasn't.
Conscientiousness
I didn't say that
do.
intelligence and conscientiousness
When you were saying
were
intelligence
female
and
traits.
conscientiousness by implication are not female traits.
No,
I mean,
I'm not
that's
saying
very
that.
dangerous
I'm not saying that at all.
Are women less intelligent than men?
No, they're not. No, the data on that's pretty clear. The average IQ for a woman and the average IQ for a man is identical. There is some debate about the flatness of the distribution, which is something that James Dumont pointed out, for example, in his memo, but there's no difference at all in general cognitive ability. There's no difference to speak of in conscientiousness. Women are a bit more orderly than men, and men are a little bit more industrious than women. But the difference isn't big. But that averages into
And in men
conscientiousness.
who aren't necessarily as
Well, of
industrious.
course.
But
But
female
you
traits,
asked
though,
me-
why are they not
Feminine traits.
Why are they not desirable at the top of feminine traits? Why are they not desirable at the top of
It's hard to say. I'm just laying out the empirical evidence. Like we know the traits that predict success.
But we also know, because companies by and large have not been dominated by women over the centuries, we have nothing to compare it to. It's an experiment.
True, and it could be the case that if companies modified their behavior and became more feminine, that they would be successful. But
You
there's
seem
no
doubtful about
evidence
that.
for it. I'm not neither doubtful nor not doubtful. There's no
So
evidence.
why
for
not
it.
give it a go as the
Because
radical
the evidence
feminists would say?
suggests, well, it's fine. If someone wants to start a company and make it more feminine, compassionate, let's say, and caring in its overall orientation towards its workers and towards the marketplace, then that's a perfectly reasonable experiment to run. My point is that there is no evidence that those traits predict success in the workplace. And there's
Because it's
this
never
evidence
been
is-
tried.
Well, that's not really the case. Women have been in the workplace for, at least ever since I've been around. The representation of women in the workplace has been about 50%. So we've run the experiment for a fairly reasonable period of time, but not, certainly not for centuries.
deep subject.
Yeah, good conversation though. Good conversation. We already told y'all basically how we felt about it. Now it's you guys' turn to let us know how you guys feel about it.
Yes.
So go ahead and leave them comments down there. We're going to read them, you know what I'm saying? We'll see what's going on. And then y'all let us know if there's another Jordan Peterson that y'all want us to react to that kind of, backs this one up, or another conversation that y'all might want to, get into. So, you know what I mean? All right, so let's jump to some shout outs.
Okay, first shout out goes to Trevor Porter. What's up, Trevor Porter?
Trevor Porter, what's going on? Shout out to you. Hope you enjoyed that conversation, that debate. If you see this, let us know what you think about it, man.
And second shout out goes to Tracy Raffle. What's up, Tracy Raffle?
I'm gonna raffle me some tickets. I'll try to win some Jordans. But anyway,
my goodness.
shout out to you though, Tracy. Hope you enjoyed that.
Yes.
Again, if you see this, let us know what your thoughts is about this. All right. So we out this thing.
We out this thing.
All right. So peace, prosperity,
Yes.
and positivity, baby.
Yes.
And we gone.